Thank you, Manchester. This is the Betway Premier League, and here he is. It's time to meet the legend. With 6 Premier League titles, let's meet the record-breaking, history-making, 16-time, the champion of the world. It's Phil. The power Taylor.
I've got the power.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, time to meet the newly crowned UK Open champion. Let's get this party started! Snakebite, Peter Wright!
Premier League weekend, Peter Wright getting in the spirit. The crowd love him, don't they? He's a real party animal. He really gets the crowd on his side.
Well, the thing is, when you kind of do all that, you've got to be able to throw the darts as well, and he can. He's not just a show pony who can't win, and he's proved now that he's got the goods to be a major winner, of course, which he is. I've got to say that at the moment, out of the pair of them, there's only one man playing near the top of his game, and that is Peter Wright.
Peter Wright, the odds-on favourite to win this.
Well, it's an amazing switch around, because in November, Rod Studd was looking at all the odds, and in November, Phil Taylor was odds on to beat Peter Wright in the Grand Slam, and now there's another a draw added in, so it shouldn't be anywhere near odds on if you look on it like that. But the ability change has just been incredible. Phil Taylor is playing nowhere near his best, and I think he showed last week that he's just got mental frailties now where he never used to have them.
Sun Evans commentary, Rod Harrington and Stuart Pike.
Well, thanks, Dave. It's been some night, hasn't it, already? Michael van Gerwen creating more history, a world record, 44 matches unbeaten on the TV. Kim Huybrecht's eliminated, Gary Anderson back in the top 4, and Peter Wright here looking for the win, which would reclaim top spot. Michael van Gerwen back on top on 12 points, Wright on 11. Van Gerwen, of course, wraps up the night. His double header against Raymond van Barneveld, but just one defeat in the Premier League for Snakebite and Phil Taylor. Back-to-back defeats in the Premier League against Adrian Lewis, and then in the end well beaten by Van Gerwen in Rotterdam after being 3-0 in front. And towards the end of that game,
England and gentlemen,
there were signs that
Peter to throw first.
Taylor certainly looked tired. Van Gerwen dominated. So Wright against Taylor, and 8,500 here in Manchester. Ready for the battle, I'm sure.
43.
Well, as Wayne said, Phil Taylor's not been on his game, and you said it as well, Stuart, over the last couple of 3 weeks. However, Peter Wright's not been at the top of his game either.
140.
Exhibition in Exeter, 119.5, and then went on the following weekend and won the UK Open. And you thought he'd really push on, but he's just not at the ton-plus averages that we expected. And I mentioned on the stage, Stu, if Phil Taylor goes 3-0 up against Peter Wright in this game, it's a completely different game than it was last week. I mean, Phil Taylor will not do that again, I fear, and kind of just throw the towel in like he did in the end there.
Let me ask you, how difficult mentally may it be for Peter Wright after finally getting the monkey off his back, after finally winning a TV major, when people like you and I have been talking about it for many years, that, you know, he's due, he should win, and now he has. It's a case of the weight off the shoulders, and perhaps the intensity isn't the same?
Well, in actual fact, I feel he should be playing better because of the confidence. This game's all about confidence. You look in the practice room, and you go along the board of all 10 players, and they're all smashing the treble 20, hitting 180s for fun, and throwing 9 darts in practice all the time. However, it's on that stage where it counts. And of course, over this, what we call a relatively short format, if you start off bad, then all of a sudden the crowd are going to get on your back and everything. You start overthinking things. So Peter Wright should be in the proper place at the moment.
137.
Well, let's be honest, it's been a dreadful opening leg for Peter Wright. Taylor to break. Double 8 it is. Very easy leg to win. 14 darts against the throw, but Peter Wright certainly not at the races.
No, he didn't push Phil Taylor, he made it very easy, but you have to say a very tidy 14 dart leg for the tower. And now he just needs to push on, and this is where sometimes his game is not quite where it used to be. You know, he'd get this position, even though he's one leg up against the throw. This is where it all of a sudden, this early on in the game, he would kick on. It's going to be interesting to see the next couple of legs. Peter Wright, I know we're only in the second leg, 74, Stuart. That's our sort of standard.
It's at least twice mine, Rod.
140.
Yeah, the reason I asked you that question about sort of the mentality of finally winning, just sometimes, just for a little while, trying to get yourself back up for matches.
Well, the honeymoon period, people call it. It does mean something to a lot of people. They do get a bit of a dull patch, but I just expected Peter Wright to play a little bit better than he has done over the last 3 weeks. Although, saying that, he's a class player, and the last 2 weeks he's still won the matches, and that is the sign of a real quality player. When he's not playing at the top of his game, but he's still grinding results out. See, that's the difference in Phil Taylor. How many times would you see him hit darts like that? I mean, that's way off the mark for him.
Well, Peter Wright's only defeat in the Premier League came way back on night 2 in Nottingham, when he was beaten by Van Gerwen. Since then, he's played extremely well. 1-4, draw 1.
100.
Important leg, this. Neither player at their best.
Well, double top for Peter Wright to get himself back in the game. However, this is not a bad check out. The 120 is a great one, but so is this 2 darts at treble 20. Oh no, that's not a bad stacker for Taylor. Double 16 for a 2 and a holder throw. That hurts. That has hurt Peter Wright. Now it's a different game for Snakebite. He's got to hold his throw here.
That was an 18 dart winning leg from Phil Taylor. Came with the aid of a 10+ finish. Yeah, you're right. Peter Wright got to get it right. Has to wake up. Just looking back, you know, over the years since the 10-man format with elimination was brought into the Premier League, you're looking around 19-20 points, I reckon, to qualify for the playoffs, the semi-finals. Well, how much better for Peter Wright. In 2013, James Wade qualified with 17. The next year, Gary Anderson was 4th on 20. And in the last 2 years, Adrian Lewis and Raymond van Barneveld have got that 4th place with 19 points. So the benchmark 19 or 20 points, you would think, to get through to the playoffs.
83.
Yes, all the talk is about elimination here in Manchester and down in Cardiff. But of course, the players that are pushing for that playoff place at the O2 at the end of May, still got a lot to play for. And surely Peter Wright is going to get 6 darts from here. Double 16, he's going to go straight for it as well. Yes, that's a good clean kill. 11 dart leg from Peter Wright. Was that the boost? Is that extra little bit of confidence that he needs to now push on?
Well, Peter Wright, you know, yet to qualify for the playoffs in the Premier League. Finished 5th a couple of times. A couple of years ago, he led the table for a long time and then faded right at the business end.
They're perfect stackers from Phil Taylor, and that's exactly why he's hit the 3rd, and that's his first maximum of the match. And we talk about putting a strong leg on the throw. This is pretty strong from Taylor. He's just got to keep the pressure on Peter Wright and force him into darts like that. You know, a visit without a treble.
The second leg, Peter Wright missing 1 dart to break back, and Taylor with a clinical 112 out. That may yet prove to be, Rod, a really important moment in this match, albeit early on.
Dart.
134.
It's the biggest difference. 3 darts at bullseyes, didn't hit 1, and only lost 6-4. That's a big miss from Phil Taylor. To the top. Oh no, sorry.
42.
Even I miscounted there, Stuart.
Puts a bit of pressure on Taylor.
Well, you require 40.
Tops for 3-1.
Game's on the 4th leg.
3 out of 4 on the doubles.
It's like it's Peter to throw first.
Both averaging 100. Taylor's finishing the difference between the players at the moment.
Yeah, very, very crucial leg this is for Peter Wright.
100.
If Taylor breaks his throw here, then he is in trouble. Yeah, both on 100 averages. However, Taylor with a 2-leg lead at 3-1.
That one break of throw in the opening leg.
100.
He's having a problem with his first dart, Peter Wright. He's not finding the treble bed enough. It's either about 1/4 of an inch too high, Or it's coming in low and he's having to try to pitch over the top of it.
97.
He's only hit 3 140s at the moment. 8 tons, and the 8 tons are not going to be enough. Tons are never going to be enough against these players. And look at that dart. I mean, that's a wild one. A real wild one from Peter
85.
Wright.
If you're just joining us, Kim Huybrecht's eliminated after losing tonight here in Manchester to Gary Anderson. Coming up next, Jelle Klaassen and Adrian Lewis. If Klaassen loses, he is also out. And then Van Barneveld and Van Gerwen to round off week 8 here in Manchester.
60.
Well, neither player can really get a rhythm in the power scoring.
97.
Well, we see Raymond Van Barneveld do this last week against Gary Anderson on a crucial time. We will get 6 darts from here with Taylor on 162.
100.
In Cardiff next week, Taylor plays Klaassen. Peter Wright plays Huybrecht.
83. 56.
To stay in it, you would feel.
Gets on the fiddler. Peter Wright.
Just one break behind.
See if they can field a throw first. Game on.
Well, you talk about elimination, Stuart. If Jelle Klaassen happens to get a point this evening, and with Dave Chisnell having a night off and coming back next week and playing Michael Van Gerwen, that could be a big problem as Taylor hits his second maximum of the evening. And believe it or not, Taylor hit more maximums in his match against Michael Van Gerwen last week, which is incredible.
Well, anything you can do, Philip.
80.
Warming up nicely.
140.
That's a great follow-up, though. Everybody wants to see that 9, but Taylor is laughing to the crowd. He knows, but the leg is so important. Just needs to keep control. Hang on to your throw, you can't lose. So he just needs to set this up. Can't afford a visit without a treble here, and he hasn't done, and that's perfect to set it up. Will he go for 25 to leave the 36, or will he go for the 15s?
$135.
Well, terrific pressure on Taylor. So far, he's been up to the task on the doubles.
And Peter Wright weren't watching. He was messing around with his darts on the table. He weren't watching. He was waiting for the call at the shout game shot, and he hasn't. This is for a 10-dart leg to level the match. You're going to miss. It's a perfect marker for Wright, and that's why. What a great leg of darts from both players. Taylor missing 2 darts at a double to go 2 legs clears to it. Is this the big turning point in this game?
Well, remember in Rotterdam, he led Van Gerwen 3-0. He lost 7-4. He was 3-1 up. Peter Wright has given us a level game. Big pressure on both. I mean, Taylor,
100.
to lose 3 on the spin would be a big blow to his hopes of qualifying for the playoffs. You may remember 2015, he missed the semi-finals for the first time ever, didn't he?
100.
Wonderful from Wright.
Yes, and a loss here, Stuart, for Phil Taylor. You'd have to say that, well, again, anything you can do. That's the second time they've matched each other for 180s.
Yep, in consecutive legs.
140.
Well, slow start, they mean business now, all right.
An interesting dart, the third one. 25 leaves you 156. I sometimes think go for the treble 20 just
60.
to get that extra points on the
Require
board.
131.
1-2-1 is far better than the 1-3-1. However, Phil Taylor not putting any pressure on really. 1-3-1, he's going to get 6 darts at. And he's going to set it up absolutely perfectly. Well, what a cracking shot this would be if Taylor could take the 1-6-1. Has to finish on the bullseye.
Editie require 32.
Now, double 16 for 3 legs on the spin. Well, it's awkward, you can see. Can he get through the flights?
16.
A let off for Phil Taylor. Now he'll go for 25. Must not hit the bullseye. It's double 18. Double 18 it is. That's the breaker throw, and it's Peter Wright that misses doubles.
Game on.
Well, that's punishment, isn't it? Another terrific leg from Peter Wright. Right up until the last 3 darts, which he got horribly wrong.
140.
Just felt that the pendulum was swinging the way of Peter Wright. But those missed doubles, again, could prove costly.
Both
85.
around 102 average. Yeah, I mean, Taylor missed 2 darts at a double. Wright goes out with an 11 dart leg, which is absolutely perfect. And then after 12 darts, leaves himself 32, and you're thinking for the first time in the match, Wright is going to take the lead and perhaps push on. And then he missed 3 clear darts at the 16s.
The first one made it awkward. The great camera angle, you could see that the flight blocked 3/4 of the bed. Well, no trouble on the trebles. It's 180s and 3 consecutive legs for Wright.
Could be doubles.
140.
It's not too far away, so Wright realistically needs 2 treble 20s. One's going to leave him perhaps a bit too much. Needs another one of those.
100.
See that to get it up. So perhaps 1-6-4. He will have 6 darts from here, and he's going to need them.
$100. Editie require 136.
Well, not the visit that he wanted. Careless from Wright. Taylor here for daylight.
Now that second dart Peter Wright through in the previous 3 was a little bit too quick and caused him to hit a 5, which relates to him only perhaps having a dart at the bullseye. No, he's at the treble 18, so it's that double 16 again. He's already had 3 darts, now 4 in the last 2 legs. And again, a chance to get back in the match. And it's thrown away from Wright.
3 out of 10 on the doubles for Peter Wright.
It's on the 8th leg.
He's only got himself to blame, Peter Wright.
Game on.
He's missed big darts at double. 8,500 in Manchester. Peter Wright now will have to find his A game, certainly on the finishing. Hey, Roddy, it could be 5-3 up. Ifs and buts and coulds and shoulds.
140.
A little bit more aggression in the Phil Taylor throw there. He can smell the finishing line. And he certainly ain't going to throw darts away like he did last week. In a good position. You would expect him to find at least 1 point out of this match now. And the Taylor of old, it would be a guaranteed 2 points.
100.
He's been terrific on the trebles.
180.
Last 4 legs, he's been exceptional scoring power.
He has four 180s in 4 legs for Peter Wright.
140. Each you require 56.
This is where he's had the trouble. Finishing, winning the legs. This time he's switched to tops. Now, same result, 3 out of 12 now on the doubles.
121.
Punishment this could be. It's not going to be, but this double 5 is not a given.
57.
First dart, aim for the top wire. If you overpitch, perfect guide. If it just put it a little bit, it finds the double bet. Oh, that's a bit too far. That's a nervy dart from Peter Wright, you have to say. Very nervy darts. They were. The first one was so far over pitched it didn't give him any line and length.
Too cautious, maybe?
Exactly too cautious. Tops for Taylor for a guaranteed point on the board here in Manchester, and that's exactly what Phil Taylor has done.
Well, you may be averaging 101 as Peter Wright is, but when you miss 12 darts at double against Phil Taylor, inevitably you will be punished. And Peter Wright has been punished.
Well, you look at the stats, it's a tidy performance from Phil Taylor. 3, 4 180s now, over 102 average, 50% on doubles. Yeah, I think if you said to him before the match, and a bit of a smile on his face says it all. He can smell that finishing line.
45.
Well, Taylor was well beaten in Rotterdam by Van Gerwen, so he knew he had to perform. A prospect of 3 consecutive defeats
57.
didn't sit kindly on his shoulders. Another win for Taylor. He's back in the top 4.
100.
The point is enough. 1 more leg for 2. Which puts the pressure on Van Barneveld and Lewis later on. Lewis against Jelle Klaassen, Van Barneveld
96.
against Michael Van Gerwen. This looks like being only Peter Wright's 2nd defeat in this year's Premier League.
Yes, it was ironic earlier on, Phil Taylor missed 2 darts and double, and it got Wright back in the game, and then since then, Wright can't buy a double.
With the 7th leg was absolutely crucial, wasn't it? 3 darts at double 16 for 4-3 for Peter Wright. Those misses have been costly for Snakebite.
140.
Well, 140, but is it the last hurrah for Peter Wright?
Easy require 156.
You feel this has to go.
You certainly do.
Perfect line. Well, would you just believe this? Of course you would, after missing 12 darts at double. Peter Wright somehow finds a 1-5-6 to stay in this match. Well, would you believe it?
Well, we keep saying that Peter Wright's a class player, and he keeps proving it time and time again. And, you know, he's having a really indifferent night on the doubles at 25%. And all of a sudden he pulls that, not just the 1-5-6, but it's the timing still. It keeps him in the match.
Well, he's now got a hold and then break Taylor again. If Peter Wright gets a point out of this, it will be
100.
one of the best points he's earned. You can be sure.
140.
Well, that 156 is why we love this sport. Peter Wright couldn't buy a double for 4 or 5 legs, and all of a sudden, a magnificent finish.
140.
Shows bottle, Stuart.
Well, that's why he's one of the best in the business, Rob.
Yeah, shows plenty of bottle. And all the events they're playing now, that they're getting the experience to stay focused at crucial times, and it's exactly what Wright has done. I mean, Taylor would have been standing there thinking, I'm going to get another 3 darts of this, 2 darts of the double. And all of a sudden you think, wow, what has happened here? And
41.
It's thrown Phil Taylor off his rhythm a little bit. So 6 darts from here for Peter Wright.
No need to go for the 1-2-1. It's all about the double 16, maybe the double 8, maybe even the double 4.
83. It's you require 32.
He's missed a bet on this double 16, the left-hand side of the board, low left. The double 18 was straight in for the 156, and the double 16 is in cleanly. Now, all to play for. Phil Taylor steps up first, serving for the win.
100.
Now, one of the biggest legs of this year's Premier League so far. Not enough. Needed to match Taylor at the very least.
A let-off, a big let-off. However, a ton is not going to be enough. He's got to find a maximum, he's got to find a couple of 140s. Oh, that's a perfect dart. Another perfect dart. It's exactly what he needs. And that's exactly what Peter Wright finds.
What was it you were saying about bottle? Advantage Peter Wright, you would feel, in this deciding leg. How on earth has Wright managed to get himself back into this? All credit to him. Oh, I take my hat off to you, Peter Wright. This is magnificent.
140.
He hasn't won it yet, though, Stu. May get a dart at the bullseye returns, but a 140 here from Phil Taylor or a 180 throws the advantage back in Phil Taylor's part of the court, and that's exactly what he's done. Now Peter Wright's taken out the 156, and a smile on Phil Taylor, and he's going, I bet he takes it out. That's what he's saying.
Oh, how unlucky. Oh, you could see Phil Taylor's reaction there. That was so unlucky, the wrong side of the wire.
45.
He's given it everything in this last leg. It may not be enough. He's relying on Taylor missing. 2 darts at this for the match. Big win for Phil Taylor. Peter Wright will be hugely disappointed. He gave himself a chance to snatch a point. And Phil Taylor with a big, big win to go back into the top 4. And for Peter Wright, only his 2nd defeat of the Premier League campaign. Coming up next, Jelle Klaassen scraps for survival in this year's Premier League.
Power Taylor. Coming next, Jelle Klaassen needs at least a point to survive as he takes on Adrian Lewis. And rounding off the night, Barney against mighty Michael van Gerwen.
Phil, well done on a very important win. Listen, the Premier League started in 2005 and the only player that you hadn't beaten before tonight was Peter Wright, so that's set a record straight tonight, hasn't it?
Well, I didn't know seriously. Thank you. It was a strange game. He missed doubles and I missed doubles, and we're both jumping on each other. In the last leg, I think that was the best 180 I've hit in my career, to be honest. And the double 16 as well. The first one I thought was in, and then the second one went off the flight and didn't double.
It was a very important 2 visits to the board, wasn't it? Because he'd given himself a chance of breaking and getting a point, hadn't he?
The 156 was incredible. I mean, he seems to do things under pressure like Michael van Gerwen does. He's a brilliant player. He really is, and I think he's going to get stronger now. He was just a little bit off form. It's just on the night, and he wasn't as good as what he normally is. Otherwise, he'd have beat me there, I think.
Very important win for you in the context of the league as well. It takes you back into the top 4, which is where you want to be, obviously.
I'd love to be in the top 4, but I'm not going to think he'd build me hopes up too highly, obviously. But I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep pushing. Last week was a nightmare for me in Rotterdam. I mean, I was booed by 10,000. I've never been booed by that many before, only in Rotterdam. So it's just every time I play Michael in Rotterdam. It was hard work for me last week, even though I was 3-0 up. Sorry, it was a game you can't win.
You're back on home soil here, quite near to home in Manchester. You're always guaranteed a good reception here.
It was spilling for me tonight. I think I'm getting more because it's my last time. So, you know what I mean? I'm saying goodbye to them here now, so I think that's why I'm getting more support.
Good. Well, you signed off in style from here. Thanks for talking to us, Phil. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You've got to have that belief that you can do it against the most successful player in the world that there's ever been, and he did it. But full credit to Phil as well. But the last